Hello everybody, welcome to episode 9 of the World of Brickfilms podcast. I'm your host, William of AW Studios. Joining with me today is my good friend and co-host, Sean Willets of City Penta.
I'm the one who's not Filmyguy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, wrong one. Different guy.
Yeah, and special guest is Sean Willets of Filmyguy.
Nice. Awesome, cool.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that we're the two Brickfilmers with the closest names.
Yeah. I feel like we should have been better friends.
Yeah, I don't ever remember making that observation many years ago.
Oh, yeah?
I guess we must have just known each other better by username.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
well,
it's because it's funny, because I think the first time I ever saw anything from you, I think it was the Jurassic Park recreation by Digital Wizards, and were you part of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw the behind the scenes video, and they said Sean Willets helped make it with us, and I thought, wait, he flew all the way from Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
I was really amazed, and I realised that you were two different people.
Nice. Yeah, that's funny.
That's funny, yeah.
Yeah. But so thank you so much for joining us.
Oh yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, so I might as well ask, when did you start brick filming?
Probably like most of you, I just started making Lego videos independently of doing it online. I think I was 13 or 14, and I started just on the Lego Studios, the Lego Studios webcam.
Okay, yeah.
I kind of went from there. I got a better camera as I got better, and then I found Brickfilms, and I found a bunch of people on there, and so I just I started talking to you all. I know it's great. But then that turned into Bricks in Motion. As soon as I got there, I feel like Brickfilms was at the end of its life.
Yeah, that was about the end of 07, wasn't it, when you joined?
So as soon as I got there, I was like, oh, this place is weird. It was in a weird state. And then but then it turned into Bricks in Motion, and that was so awesome. It was a really great community, and just people were just super awesome. It was weird. There was a lot of rules on Brickfilms, like a lot, and it was just kind of I think they were just trying to keep away amateurs or something. I don't know, but you can't make more people if you keep away everybody, So it was kind of counterintuitive,
Well, I mean, there's a whole mess there that I don't think we should get into. We'll be here for a long time.
Yeah, it was just weird, because it kind of stopped me from doing it for a second, not for a long time, but I was just I don't know, so it was just, I'm just saying it's good that you got everybody started Bricks in Motion, because that was super helpful, and I don't know, it was just it's just a whole different energy. But yeah, so I did that. I was just doing Brickfilms on there for 5 years, 5 straight years of just on there making Brickfilms. And then
actually, where did you get the Lego Studios camera? Because you must have been using it a good few years after it was new.
Oh yeah, no, I got that. I remember I got that was already old. By the time I got it, it was I think we got it at I can't remember, but it's it was just kind of a hand-me-down kind of store. That's what,
yeah,
a hand-me-down store, basically.
Yes, some class of a secondhand store, yeah.
Yeah, and they had one. It was still a store, but it was just kind of secondhand kind of stuff. I think it might have been used, but it was the whole set. It was the Lego Studio set, and it was I think the value at the time was $100 or something, but I think it was lower than that. I think it was maybe 70 or 80 or something. So it was still like expensive, but because it had the webcam and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember getting it. I was probably like 12 or like 11 or 12 or something when I actually got it. So I had it for a while. I had it for a while before I started doing it, but like that was a great camera because like it had a focus ring. Like the quality was horrible, but like at least you could actually do the focus ring. Like that's amazing, dude. Like I love that camera because it could do that.
Yeah, and were you using the Lego Studios software that came on the disc or not?
I did use it. But the thing was, it was so limited.
Yeah.
It must have been like a lot of work to put together. Like it wasn't like super like because it was like made in like 2000 or something.
Yeah, it was.
It was so old. But it was still like I think at the time it was pretty cool. Like it had its own software. Like that's amazing.
Yeah, for something 2000 for kids, that is amazing.
They don't even do that now. They don't even make softwares. Like Lego doesn't even make a software now. For Brickfilming.
Mm-hmm. No,
it was amazing. Like it had like a bunch of filters and like it was like an editing suite too.
Yeah, it's funny how really the Brickfilming community was already started by Lego themselves. Really, from that, the stop motion software and
in a way, yeah.
Yeah,
it was kind of a bunch of things all meeting together at once. But that's the biggest one, yeah.
I think the biggest one, yeah, that was the biggest one for me because they only put out like a couple stop motion spots for Lego Studios, but like each one is a freaking classic. Like they're so well done. Like at least in my mind, at least from what I remember, like there's like an Indiana Jones one, and there's like a Jaws one. And I think the Spider-Man one is completely separate, but like that was...
Yeah, it was from a later studio set.
Yeah, like from Spite Your Face Productions, that was still part of it,
Yeah.
That, like, watching those was like, oh, like I can do this with like the Lego Studios thing, like...
Although it was a bit deceptive because they weren't made with the Lego Studios cameras. They looked so much better.
It was deceptive, but... maybe that's what we needed.
Yeah, perhaps, yeah, something to look up to.
Like a little bit of deception to be kind of like, well, like, if they think they can do it with this thing, then they'll buy it. Yeah. But also, like, it's also like kind of like a trick a little bit because it kind of gets you into it, and you're like, like, wow, like, now you can't stop doing it if you're really interested in the thing. You honestly can't stop doing it.
Yeah.
Right, that's pretty much what happened.
Because when did you start seeing like the rise of like other sort of like stop motion software and different things like that? Was it like 2003, 2004?
Oh yeah.
But I know Monkey Jam started in 2003.
Yeah.
Oh wow, really? I worked on Lego Studios, the program and the webcam until like 2007. Like I didn't really find one until like probably 2006 because then. But by 2006, I think I was like shooting terrible like live action stuff because I got a better camera at that point. So I was like, like shooting like me and my brother like lightsaber fighting or something. Yeah. So I had other programs by that point. So I actually didn't have a software. With my camera, I just took the frames, and by took the frames, I pressed the record button over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Didn't realize I could just like these are the hindsight 2020. It's like I didn't have to press the record. I could have just like cut it together in editing. Like I could have just like I didn't have to press the record button over and over again. Like
yeah, because that's exactly how I started using just like taking lots of very short videos, and what I used to do is I used to put them on Windows Live Movie Maker. And Movie Maker didn't like any video files that were like less than half a second, so it would just would not play the video files.
God, Yeah.
What I used to do was I took, on like my very first animation test, I took the entire animation session as one big long video recording, and between each frame I just take my hands out of the frame, and then when I had the entire thing I screen grabbed every individual frame out of the video.
Yeah, that's what I should have done.
It took forever. It's a terrible method, but that's what I did the first time.
Yeah, you're definitely smarter than most of us. Yeah, no, yeah, I remember doing that method and being pretty happy with it, honestly, because I could do live action and and seamlessly, basically, and I don't know, I felt really inspired doing it that way. But then I quickly realized I needed to get a program to facilitate it.
Yeah. That's actually an interesting question to me about the old, how old are frame capture programs, because I'm not really sure what the standard would have been, many years ago.
Well, the next one I went on to was, and my cat is just freaking out right now. Yeah, he's just crazy. The next one I think I went on to was probably iStop Motion.
Oh, yeah. That's a classic.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if I had a Mac yet. I guess I got a Mac. Oh yeah, no, I think I got a Mac to do like live action stuff, and then I got iStop Motion on there, and that was so good because it was so cheap. It was like $50. Like that is so cheap for like a stop motion program.
Yeah, it really is.
Like aside from free, obviously, but I think it did so much for like $50. I mean, it was super simple, but like that's all I needed, really. It was so good. Love that one. I discovered onion skinning on that, where you could like onion skin between. Funny enough, I don't actually use onion skin anymore.
Yeah, most people who've been doing this for a long time say that.
Yeah.
Everyone goes off it after a while.
I think that for me, for like onion skinning, I think that mostly what I use it for is just to remember that, like with walk cycles, so his left leg now, that kind of thing is kind of useful, because otherwise you have to keep going through. I mean, it's still good to go through the photos and stuff, make sure everything's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, for that kind of thing, it's kind of useful. But I think it's sometimes people use onion skinning, and just sometimes it can result in animation being too smooth, like floaty, and doesn't have the kind of fluidity of being kind of, the cartooniness and that kind of stuff, and yeah.
I just think it distracts, honestly, because like it's weird. I used to use it all the time. Like I used to use onion skinning all the time. That's what I would use. I think it maybe works better for Legos, maybe than other things. Maybe like something with how solid they are, like how rigid they are. Like they're not like, I don't know.
Like they work better if it's sort of calculated.
Yeah, like they're more calculated or something. Yeah.
Yeah, because in a way, I can imagine that if you're trying to go into other forms of stop motion, like puppetry and stuff, onion skinning probably doesn't really do that much for you, really.
Yeah, it just gets in the way. Like honestly, it's kind of distracting. Like I think I tried it once while I was doing Robot Chicken or something, and I was just like, this is not helpful at all. Like it just flipping through the frames on the keys is just way more. Maybe like onion skinning helped to like visualize it better for me or something, or I don't know. Like maybe that's why like I've evolved past it or something. But yeah, like just flipping through the frames is much better for me.
Yeah, it gives you an idea of the actual entire movement, and I think that's what you should be paying more attention to than just the previous frame in isolation.
Yeah. And honestly, you should really be checking like everything you do anyway, just in case of inconsistencies, like a hair or the lighting changes, these kind of things, So yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. You can miss if you're onion skinning. I think you can miss some stuff like hairs and stuff, like because it's like overlaying frames. So you're like you're not really sure what you're looking at, but I don't know. It was really helpful back in the day. Like it was really helpful to me. So it's weird that I don't do it at all.
Well, you're not alone, because we've heard that a couple of times by now on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
The people that they they go off onion skinning.
Yeah, maybe it's just like a new thing, you know, like that we just all got into, and it just like slowly kind of faded away. You know, like it was just like when we first saw it was just like, oh, this is kind of cool, and then now it's like, oh, that's not really actually very useful.
I guess it's kind of like almost like a gimmick, isn't it? Kind of like cool, we got this thing. Once the kind of gimmick kind of it starts becoming less of it starts becoming like just another thing. You kind of the fad kind of goes, and it's kind of, you know, yeah.
It's like, do I really need this?
Yeah.
But so, do you remember any of the Brickfilms that were most influential on you when you were starting out?
Yeah, definitely. I remember. Well, anything. I more remember like people, to be honest, like than Brickfilms, because they like how consistent people were. That's really what stuck with me. Like how like you could see like the evolution like of how people got better and better and better. Like that was really cool. Like that really helped me because like but also like people like Zach Macias, Mind Game. He's like always been good. Like,
that's true. Yeah.
Like it's so weird. Like you have to be bad at some point. Where's your bad stuff? You know, like I wanted to see it. You know that there's nothing. Like I swear to God, there's like nothing.
Yeah. Sometimes people try to make the point that there's like essentially no such thing as natural talent. But I think that there's some cases where you just have to say, this guy just has a natural talent, and that's all there is to it.
I feel like I feel like I have some natural talent, but like I did work pretty hard. Like I worked really hard.
Yeah, I know you have done a lot of work, but I think you did always have a natural knack for it. From the beginning, your animation was really good.
At least you can see my earlier stuff and be like, yeah, he was terrible. Like really, if you watch, like you could see me slowly get better.
It's kind of funny because I was yesterday I was watching a load of the Tim and Fred films, and I think I watched like the first like 20 or so, and I would say that you actually you're starting to get really good pretty early into the series. You know, and I was watching them and I was like, you know, wow, I really like the fluidity and it looks really nice.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that? I started that because I just wanted to make something. I actually didn't want to concentrate on the animation. Like, and it's funny how when you focus on like characters or like story or something more, it doesn't actually like make the other part of your like everything else worse. It actually makes it all better. Because like as soon as I started focusing on like Tim and Fred, I was like, I got all these ideas, you know, for like how it would look and like how like I could make it look great.
Yeah, like once you developed the personalities and you have the expressive voice acting, it really informs how the animation should match it.
Yeah, no, it's great. It like and you know that's funny because it turned out like. Because if you see the first like 3, like the animation is horrible. By the 4th one, it's like better.
The Halloween special is still really good.
And then by the special, it's like, oh my god, like he's doing parkour. You know.
Yeah. When he's trying to get up the fire escape, that's really good.
Yeah, I think that's the turning point. Because when I was watching that's the turning point of Tim and Fred, where it really the animation really was getting pretty great. Yeah. Like that, the Halloween ones the animation is fantastic. Yeah.
I still really like the Halloween one. I think it's like I still think it's like one of my favorites, like videos, definitely, because it I don't know. There's something. It's like the animation's just like really solid, and I think the end joke is really funny, and you know, it packs a punch like a bit.
Yeah, my favorite might be the first Christmas special because I've always loved the sequence with where they're talking about why they're not with their families, and it goes to the flashbacks with their parents, voiced by Keshin, and they have the same parents just with different hair colors, and they jump out the window.
Obviously the same people. Like the parents are obviously the same people. They just change their hair. Like they just, you know, or like, you know, it's whatever. You know, it could be different people.
And it's just so absurd that Fred's family have an intervention to tell him to stop hanging out with Tim. I laughed so hard when I saw it the first time.
It's funny, yeah, because like because they're all like kind of on the side of Tim, but then Fred's family is like, no, like this guy is not cool. Like, like he's not a good person.
There's nothing that great about him. Like,
yeah, like there's nothing great about him. Like it's just funny because like he's like basically our main character, and then somebody else goes like, no, this guy is terrible.
Yeah, because it's kind of funny like that because that was that's really struck to me as like being a particularly funny part that bit, the parents and stuff, because it's kind of funny because I literally just been starting to watch these like yesterday and stuff, and that is hilarious, that with the Keshin, and it's the same parents,
same voices,
yeah. Keshin's always been really supportive too, like really just always there, if I needed a voice, and that's super cool. Like everybody who's been there for like voices, like I'm super appreciative like of them to like supply the voice, because it's like you can't make a video without a cast. It's really, after a while it's really hard to like make something without an actual cast of people. So it's
that's something that I find when you do a series, is that it starts becoming less just your thing, but it becomes a very collaborative thing. I think it gets to the point where every single voice actor makes that show what it is.
Yeah, they become part of the cast, really. Yeah, I like how Keshin is in Tim and Fred as all sorts of different roles, like the news guy. He's a part of the series in general.
He really just like kind of fit right in to like whatever I needed. Like as far as like the background guys, like it's like he's like a great background. He's such a good background. It's like having the backgrounds in your movie. You need like a good backdrop. And he was like really good. Like he added that legitimacy. Like he was actually really good at that, like adding like legitimacy to like a brick film. Like if you had him in there, it's like, oh, it's great. Like same thing with Forrest, like Forest Fire. He started out doing Lego Batman, and people like, like a high voice Lego Batman, like people were like kind of against it. But as soon as like Keshin came on, people were like,
oh yeah,
like wait a minute, like this is kind of good, like.
But Forrest really developed into a great voice actor, though. The recent Batman films, his comic timing and delivery is just excellent.
Yeah, he his voice work is like really, really good.
Yeah, and the voices for Batman and Robin sound different as well.
Yeah.
So that worked out in the end.
It's really impressive actually hearing his range sometimes, because I'm okay at voicing. Like I can do some characters, but mostly it's like Fred. Like that's the most like entertaining one out of all the voices can even do. And but like when he does it, like I feel like he could kind of do any character, and sell it. So so he does most of his voice acting pretty much. So it's kind of intimidating, because he'll just be like, just do better, just be a better voice. I'm like, I can't. You're just too good. You're better. You're better than me at voice acting. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't have that range that you have.
Yeah, in some of the recent Batman ones, like he'll deliver a line that's not even meant to be a joke, but it's just delivered in such a way that it's funny anyway.
Yeah, it's really funny. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think it's kind of funny how like seeing those kind of things where a series that people started off when they're quite young, and just like keep going through the years, and then seeing the series progress is really interesting, like the case with Forest Fire. And I guess I really like Benny and Lee as well, isn't it? Penta, it's quite interesting seeing those earlier episodes and then seeing the ones now.
Yeah, you can see the difference.
I remember I watched every Benny and Lee, I believe, like when they came out. Like I haven't gone back, recently though, so my memory isn't great. But I remember they were always really funny and great.
There's some recent ones that are they're much better produced now.
Yeah, no, I gotta go back. I'm definitely gonna go back for sure.
But that topic reminds me of something. I'm going to send you a link here, if I can. So here's a link to an old thread, and I want you to take a look at this and check out the first reply, especially.
An old thread? I hate anything I ever said.
Well then, I think you're really going to hate this.
Oh no. Oh.
I'm glad you haven't heard the one with Zach, because this thread that I'm trying to send you, it was mentioned in that one.
Oh god. I guess.
So this is like part 2.
The suspense is killing me.
The tension keeps building.
Alright, I think, yeah, I got it. What is this?
Okay, here we go.
Ooh, alright. What could this be? I feel like I'm opening up a present that I don't want. Oh no.
What do you see?
Oh god. Who is this me? Did I write this?
Well, as far as I can tell, Archive doesn't lie.
The thing is the layout is weird because, hold on. Oh, there we go. Now, oh damn, the pictures won't load.
Yeah, for some reason the refugee camp archive is broken.
Oh really? Okay, that's fine. All right. Jesus, was this like sarcastic?
Do you not remember this at all? Like, you don't remember what you're talking about there with the comments or anything?
Oh, I haven't read the comments yet.
No, I mean, you in the post by you from the time, it mentions Forest Fire going around commenting on all your videos and pointing out worse things about them. That's what it says.
What?
Maybe this thread comes from a different timeline.
Wait, what? Because I remember like sending him like I remember sending him like really weird messages back in the day because my friend Steven was like egging me on to do it and like freaking him out. But this is like way back, like 2013 maybe, 2020, no, 2012 maybe. And so we had a weird relationship from the start. And oh man, I gotta read all this.
But this is from 2008.
Yeah. Oh, this is from 2008.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's much earlier then.
Yeah.
This is what? This is from 2008.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Oh yeah, you're right. 2008.
This was posted on the 30th of August 2008.
What the hell?
So this would have been around the time when Forest Fire was first becoming popular.
Well, I remember like us like messaging back and forth on YouTube, like kind of cussing each other out, but like being like, "You're bad," like, you know, "You're terrible." Like, this is like you're making a bad name for like us, like Brickfilmers or something. So like, you know, I think he forgot all about it, but I guess he didn't because he was bad mouthing me. He's saying he bad mouthed me on here. Oh wait! There he is.
Yeah, he shows up in the thread.
Wait, he said I use new sound effects now. I use my voice for sound effects. So that was awful. But, you know, I remember this.
This is so old that this would have been about the time when he wasn't even doing walk cycles in the films yet. At least you guys are polite about your hatred of my videos.
It's so funny because, but yeah, like he, I guess he forgot about it because like later when we were hanging out, like when we first started hanging out. Oh yeah, we started hanging out in like 2011, like 2012. Yeah, it must have been earlier. Like I don't know why I said 2012 before, but yeah, we started hanging out, and I remember that we used to like message each other and like mean messages to each other, but I don't think he did.
Well, that's hilarious.
I had a different YouTube, and then one day I showed him like, "Oh, you remember this video I did?" I was like, "Oh, I don't remember that video." And he's like, I don't even remember this channel. And he's like, "Wait a minute, like, I remember, like, he's like, I remember this channel. Like, you were that guy? Like, you were the guy, like, that we were, like, insulting each other?
And that's a great story, actually.
I was like, oh, no. Like, yeah. Like, I guess, you found out or whatever. Like, he had no idea, like, that I was, like, the one. Like, that was me,
Yeah, I'm glad we've gotten to the bottom of that now.
It was pretty funny, though. So, yeah, it's just funny how we just started out we kind of started out rocky, for sure, like, in the beginning, but then, like,
Yeah.
then we added each other on Facebook, and then, and we started talking, and then, and his videos were obviously getting a lot better. And
Yeah, I was interested to know how you went from that point there to working on his films.
Oh, yeah, because it is definitely, like, there's a gap there, like, what happened, Like,
yeah, there's a big question mark there.
big question mark. Yeah, we just kind of, what really happened was he wanted to do, like a Lego Justice League video, and I wanted to do one too, so we kind of decided, like, oh, well, we'll double time it, basically. I'll make a part 1 and you make a part 2, and we'll just link each other, the channels, and we'll both win because we'll both have great videos or whatever. But then we were, like, writing it, and we're like, well, actually, like one of us has to make it, and it's probably gonna be Forrest. So, like, we've kind of decided to put it on his channel, but then I helped, make it with him, and that's how Lego Justice League came about. That video. So, that was, like, a really fun, really fun time working on that. So that, we just clicked.
And then the rest is history.
And the rest is history with that, yeah.
But how recently is it that you were last working with him on a Lego project?
The last thing we worked on, I don't think it was. Oh no, it was. It was actually a commercial for Lego tape.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, if you
Yeah, I've seen that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's cute, right? It's this little thing.
Yeah. And the slinging the tape animation's really good.
Yeah, thanks. That was fun because I got to, like, board it out, like, storyboard it out, and just kind of come up with we both kind of came up with concepts. We had, like, a really limited time to put that together, so it was kind of, like, thrown together.
Yeah.
That's why it's, like, so simple, but yeah.
I saw that fairly recently because someone linked it. Someone linked it on the chat, and they used it as a good example of running in brick filming.
The
one cycle.
running was really good.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that was mine. The running.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, because I like that kind of, it's tilting the figures, so they're not just, like, running, straight forward, that kind of thing, so it makes it much nicer. Yeah. That's
really cool. I'm really glad that somebody used that as reference, because I did that really quick. Like, I didn't spend that much time on it. We had, like, we didn't have a lot of time, so I was just like, all right, I gotta make this. Like, I gotta make this thing.
I was wanting to improve my own run cycle, and that was definitely one that I was looking through frame by frame for reference.
Oh, cool, yeah.
Yeah.
So, if that's the most recent thing you worked on, I mean, I guess you're not really, like, working on anything at the moment then? Like, what's the future of the Forest Fire channel, I guess?
Oh, like Brickfilming?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not really focusing on Brickfilming at the moment. I don't really... I did get these pretty sweet figures, though. These, like, Harry Potter figures. I haven't been, like, excited about Lego in forever, and that's the main thing. I just haven't been excited about it. Like, I just, like, Lego's just, like, I've been doing it so much. Like,
of course,
it just doesn't excite me at all.
I'm not surprised. No.
Yeah, like, so, like, it's kind of hard. But I did get these sweet Harry Potter figures, where they actually have the small legs, and they actually turn. Like, they actually, like, you can actually make them run.
Oh yeah, the new series, aren't they?
Yeah. So
yeah,
the collector series.
I bet Lego, being smart businessmen, they were like, we can make these. We can make them run. like, anytime we want. We're just going to hold off on doing that for actually years, and then come out with that later. Because it's like very simple mechanics.
It is simple, yeah.
But they just decided, like, we'll just, hold off on that.
And they've been around on custom websites for a while.
Yeah, they have, but it was a smart decision to just, like, bring it out now, because now I'm excited about Legos again, yeah.
Well, that's nice to hear.
Yeah, like, because I'm like, wow, like, this is really cool. Like, really, just shorter. Like, they're not, like, that much shorter, actually, but, like, there is, like, a difference. Like, there is a difference in height.
Yeah, they're like they're teenager legs, I think is what they're using them for.
Legs, yeah. That works. That totally works.
Which is useful for like teenage legs. They're useful because like with the Harry Potter, you're going like year by year, and they start off like they're 11, and then
and that's cool too. Just for Legos in general, because now there's like a height. Now there are height differences.
Mm-hmm. So you got like good. 13, 14, 15-year-olds, not necessarily the big legs, but you can have the mid. Yeah.
So I think that your last post on Bricks in Motion was you said you would enter one of the recent enough tacks, and it didn't happen.
Oh, God.
So maybe if you're starting to get interested again with the moving short legs, maybe next tack.
Yeah, maybe. When would that be? Would that be at the end of the year?
It would either be the end of December or the start of January.
Yeah, maybe if I have some time off, maybe I might throw something together. Those are really.
Because interestingly, cool. We recently just had our 10th Brawl, 10th anniversary Brawl. So
yeah, did you remember Brawl?
Yeah, I remember Brawl. Yeah, I think I did. I think I maybe did one.
Mr. Depressing.
Oh God.
I've always loved that film.
Yeah, that's right. Oh man,
and it wasn't accepted.
That wasn't accepted. That was disqualified, from what I remember.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember Darkman was doing the judging on that, and he was just like, "Yeah, no." But like completely disqualified. I'm like,
the description says it was disqualified because the file size was too big.
Yes, yeah, that's what it was. The file size.
I'm glad we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
Wasn't it weirdly shaped? Like that film where it's like the whole picture wasn't there or something, or?
Well, no, it was like maybe the quality was too low or something. Oh, that's right.
Apparently the file was too big.
It was too big. That's right. Yes, what you said in the beginning. Yeah, it was too big. So I couldn't download it or something. Something
like that, but it's interesting that's one of the very few films on your channel that's now unlisted.
Oh, it is?
It is, yeah.
No, a lot more are unlisted. There's a lot. There's a lot I unlisted.
Oh, I guess I have to go searching.
Yeah, there's a lot of Lego videos I think I've unlisted.
But yeah, I think some people wouldn't like that one, but I like it.
There is a certain thack entry I made last year, and I've been tempted to make it unlisted, but I guess in a way, every film you make is kind of like there's a you should at least sort of like appreciate you made that with that one.
Yeah.
It's I'm going to use that now as an example of how to not make a thack film and how to not make a film in general.
Yeah.
Well, it's part of your body of work, and you think about your own filmography a lot more than anyone else does.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, nobody's gonna look at your new films and then go back and see one film they don't like and then say, "Oh no, this is actually it's terrible."
Well, yeah, that's what I actually realized, because there is one channel I have. I won't mention it so people don't go to it, but but there was one channel I had, and I was like, I want to get rid of this, but I can't because YouTube got bought by Google or something, and now I was using, I don't know, it's a weird, stupid technicality where I couldn't get into the account because I used the same email. I used that email for one account, and now I can't use it for another one, basically.
So is this your very, very first channel, or is it your second channel that?
It probably is my first channel, yeah. And there's a lot of dumb stuff on there, but I wanted to burn it to the ground. I basically wanted to, like, spam it or something, or report it and get it taken down. But I don't know. It's just like, it's a harmless. Nobody's gonna go back. Like nobody's gonna, like. It's so buried now. From just YouTube. It's just hard to find anyway. So it's not really that big of a deal to me to.
Because I did notice that the first video on your on the channel called Filming Nut, it mentions in the description that you couldn't put it on your old channel because you lost the password or something. But I've never seen the older channel than that, so it must be very hard to find.
It's I'll just say it's not like that hard to find. If you like just think about my usernames, but that's all I'll give. Like that's as much hint.
I think I understand where you're going with that, but I won't say.
Yeah, it's just like, I was like, that it's not worth, the stress of like trying to get access to,
Yeah.
So yeah, whatever.
But to go back for a second, I did want to ask. I mean, maybe you're sick of this question by now, but what is the status of the 4th part of the Batman series?
Oh, Forest video?
Yeah.
That's still being made. It's taken like kind of a backseat, but not really, because he still streams. Like.
Oh yeah, he has been streaming.
You can watch him make it. Like it's not like he's not making it.
But you're not working on that one, no?
I don't think I worked on it.
Okay.
I don't know.
But it's nice to know that it's still coming anyway, because those were amazing.
I think I did, actually.
Really?
I think I did like one shot. There's a lot. It's a long. It's like
okay.
It's like, I mean, it's not super long. Don't get your hopes up, but like it's long enough to where I'm gonna have to be like, did I even work on it?
I'm looking forward to it.
It's great. It's got some good stuff. For sure.
In the previous ones, I was super impressed by the shot of Nightwing jumping across the rooftops. And there's so much detail in the background. Like, there's the train going along, and even the train is lit up on the inside. I was amazed by that.
Yeah, fun fact. I did none of that, except I animated on it. I did none of that Nightwing stuff. I tried, but it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough for Forrest, and he had to animate it. Like a lot of that video, for some reason he was very particular about. So any Nightwing jumping on rooftops I did, he just like scrapped and did himself. It was weird. So I just wasn't hitting the right marks or something,
And another part I really liked was in the police station. It was a really large shot.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
It's definitely a really just an impressive shot, in any Lego movie. Like that, it wouldn't. You don't see that every day, really.
You really don't, no. But yeah, I guess those aren't really your films, though.
Definitely his. He wrote them, and he wrote them with either just himself or with his friend Mason.
Mm-hmm.
Usually he just writes with Mason. Sometimes he'll we'll come up with an idea, but yeah, generally it's just generally just him and Mason, because they just have the the best writing.
So yeah. I don't wanna spend the whole time just praising things that Forrest did or asking when the next Lego Batman is, but I guess the last thing I want to ask about that is just to satisfy my own curiosity. Do you remember there was a teaser release that had yellow paint all over the Batcave? Was that a different film?
That was Lego Justice League, and that's never gonna happen, bro. Yeah, that's the thing with that was it was kind of like a classic sequel problem. Like we kind of like Forrest had like things he wanted to do in it, but like the ideas weren't like very, I don't know, like weren't like cinematic maybe, or like we kind of like rushed out a script, and then we realized it wasn't good enough or something, and we didn't really want to. But he already started animating on it basically.
Mm-hmm.
So then we're like, then we were stuck in a corner, so we couldn't really like. We actually wanted to redo the dialogue of the scene like completely, and like set up like the yellow paint was like for one thing, and then we like just were like, oh, you know, he'll just be doing it for another thing, you know, like just to rework the dialogue completely. Because the cool thing about Legos is you can just, you know, redub it. That's fine.
Call it something else.
Yeah, I mean, it's better to just animate what the actual dialogue is, but you know, potentially you totally could redo the dialogue completely. So yeah, that was really interesting because we wanted to use that footage, but you know, and we would have. It's just like we just had other projects, you know. We just decided to do other things.
So there wasn't really much more shot than what was released as a teaser?
No, there was a whole scene. That's a whole big scene.
Oh.
It was like 4 minutes or something.
Wow.
Like 4 or 5 minutes. Like it was long. It wasn't like it wasn't like a short clip.
Okay.
Like it was like Alfred. Wasn't it the shot of Alfred like cleaning up like his spit or something?
Cleaning the floor.
Yeah. Like because like Batman like spits on the ground and then like he comes in like whoop doo.
Yeah. It was like, super well animated.
Yeah, it was really funny. Yeah.
Just maybe one day it could be like a second channel upload, just unused footage.
Yeah, I think you should just upload it for sure.
I'd like to see that, yeah.
Because it's really funny and it's pretty long. I mean, maybe it's not that long, but I remember it being like a hearty 3 or 4 minutes or something.
But there's a lot more that the general public haven't seen. In any case.
Yeah, sure, yeah. I mean, it's just one scene in the Batcave. You know, there's not more, but not more than that.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure it'd still be worth seeing, though.
Yes, it's really funny. It makes me laugh.
Yeah. So, something I wanted to ask. What would you say is the hardest thing you've ever had to do, like when you're animating? What was the hardest thing to animate?
As far as brickfilming?
Yeah.
Let me think. Because I haven't done it in a while. I mean, oh yeah, I know. I mean, the Nazi zombies, Captain America 3. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Both have seen it. Yeah, that was definitely the hardest thing. I mean, I thought of it, you know, already, but I just want to make sure, like, if there's anything else. But yeah, I don't think I animated, you know, more zombies on any other project. Like I think there's one shot where I think it's like 40 zombies or something.
Wow.
I didn't do it all at one time, but it was only like 2 plates, like 2 or 3 plates. So basically, like, there's one plate in the foreground of like 20 zombies and like the Hulk, and there's a plate where we took all those zombies, and we put it in the background in the back plate, and then I animated 20 zombies back there too. So it's like in the end, it's like 40 zombies, and like, you know, moving around. I think that was definitely the hardest. I think that took like 3 days.
You know, like having to animate like 2 or 3 figures at a time is difficult enough, but animating 40, I could not for the life of me imagine having to do that.
Yeah, I didn't do it all at the same time. It was 2 plates, but 20 zombies.
But still, I mean, that's still 2 crowds worth of animation.
Yeah. Like, and also, like, you can't bump the camera. Like, you cannot bump the camera. If you bump the camera, you're screwed.
Oh god, yeah.
A lot of like Zen, you know, feelings. You know, just because we had to be Zen-ful, like, because if anything happens, you know, we just had to let it go. Like, if anything happened to the files or anything, we animate the whole thing and it's gone. If anything happened like that, we just had to be zen about it, because we would just go crazy. If anything happened, like we knew we would just go crazy. Like if anything broke down, like there was a lot of scares that his computer was crashing.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of times where it crashed, and we were just like terrified that all the work we did was ruined, because it was over 9 months we did it, and anything could happen in those 9 months.
Yeah.
And but luckily it came out the other side and everything was fine. But there were definitely a few shots that were ruined, and we had to go back and do again or something. Yeah. But
I gotta say, Nazi Zombies is one of the films that we talk about a lot on the podcast.
Yeah, it does come up a lot.
Yeah.
That's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, everyone remembers that one. It's a landmark at this stage already.
We talked about for sure. That's why we made it.
Well, it's kind of funny because I think it was 2015 is when I started brick filming, and I guess it was one of those films I saw quite early on, because I saw it like when I was quite new to the community, and it's one of those films where I just watch and just think, wow, there's no end. There's an endless possibilities really of what you can do, and yeah, I think that was probably an inspiration for me actually. That film, amazing film.
Thank you. That's that was super collaborative. I mean, it was his idea. Definitely, it was his like brainchild, and I pretty much just did everything he said. But you kind of have to have somebody to be in that role for anything. Like somebody has to take control, and just like you just do everything they say. Like because that's just. But you also there is a bit of like back and forth though. Like I'm not saying I just like laid down and just did whatever he said. It was more like I did challenge him for sure. Like I at least I hope I did. Like I didn't just do everything he said without any question. Like, but as far as the grunt work, as far as like doing the menial tasks of like the VFX work or like the putting on all those eyes.
Oh yeah.
All those glowing eyes, like that's grunt work. Like that's stuff you gotta just hunker down and do.
I never even considered the amount of glowing eyes that would have had to go into that.
There's a ton. There is a lot. I put in a lot of those. But he did a lot of the work too. He did a lot of VFX work too. Like we were both working like just as hard.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like one-sided. Like he did a lot of work on the VFX side, and I did a lot of work on the animation side. I did, but when it came down to it, I think it's 50-50. I think about like the animation as far as the animation.
And Zach did a little bit of work on that as well, didn't he?
Yes. So it's more like 45, 55%, and then 5% or something. Because like he did a bit, but he didn't do a ton. Like Zach didn't do like a ton of shots. He did like I think I could count on my hand. Like I think like maybe 10 at most.
Mm.
He did about 10 or 13 shots at most, and so that's not really like as far as percentage. That's not a lot of work, but damn, the shots he did do, boy, did he knock it out of the park.
Yeah,
I mean
that's what he does.
That some of the lighting, and everything like on the shots just kind of like blow my mind. Like it's still like the shot he did where the initial shot where Winter Soldier and Captain America like connect, where they start fighting. That shot is so gritty. There's something about the lighting or something. It just looks like an oil painting. Like I remember when I like saw it in like 4K, like HD.
Oh yeah.
Without any effects added to it either. Like without anything added to it. I saw the full frame. It just like looked really pretty. Like it looked really like a really just a well framed shot and really well lit. And Forrest did all like the lighting and everything. And Zach might have helped out too. I can't really remember, but on the lighting. But yeah, he the lighting and the set and like the animation just like really looks so good.
Yeah, the behind the scenes pictures are incredible. Seeing the full size of the setup.
Yeah, it's great. It was a great set. We had to move it from one apartment building to a house.
Wow.
So during the production, so it's amazing that it all stuck together.
Yeah, I can't imagine trying to move that and keeping it together.
Yeah, I don't know how it. I don't know how it came. I mean, it was all kind of broken down to begin with. Like the set's all broken down anyway. So, and each shot is kind of its own thing, And
Yeah.
when you kind of break it down, it's like, well, we gotta make a whole different setup for this shot anyway. So it's we don't really have to worry about a standing set. But it worked out.
But I just wanted to mention, I'm not sure, we might have mentioned this already when we were talking with Zach, but there is a Vimeo upload of the film, and I think it's only recent. It might have been put up this year, and it looks and sounds so much better than the YouTube upload.
Wait.
And I'm pretty sure I did already say this, but it's really just that good that I thought of it again.
I don't even know if... I think I remember, but if it's recent, I don't know about it. I thought... Because I remember I think he uploaded it pretty soon after he uploaded it on YouTube.
I could be wrong. I thought it was like 2 years after the YouTube upload, maybe.
Maybe it's possible, but I feel like he uploaded it pretty recently, like after the YouTube.
But after seeing it, as far as I'm concerned, that's the proper way to watch it.
Oh yeah, it's like going to see it IMAX.
It is, yeah.
Something like IMAX 3D. Like
I've heard a lot of people, actually mostly Penta, saying this, but it is definitely true that Vimeo, the picture quality in Vimeo looks so much better than it does on YouTube. It's just something that on YouTube things get more compressed. Like I've even noticed it even in my own videos. Like I'll put them on Vimeo and I kind of think, wow, actually I like it more on here.
Yes, yeah. The quality is something to consider on Vimeo. It's
especially things in fast motion. Something moving quickly on YouTube, it just turns into a blocky mess.
Huh. I don't really think about that. Yeah, that's probably true. I gotta go back and watch that on Vimeo for sure.
Yeah, because one of the things I noticed as well is that because when I download things for the podcast, like video clips and stuff, I noticed that a lot of the stuff downloaded from YouTube, a lot of the frames are kind of like blended together, and just the way that YouTube sort of renders the things.
Yeah, I think it's the bit rate.
Yeah, it's the bit rate.
Yeah, I believe that's the problem. Yeah. Well, that's cool. I'm definitely gonna go back and watch that on Vimeo. Maybe I'll set it up on my on my Mac and just feed it through to my TV or something, so I could see it see it that way. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. That's cool.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, another thing I was gonna say about Vimeo is that's a great place to put your like a high quality resume. If you want to put all your high quality uploads, in one place and have a have a good place to show the quality of your work. Like the Vimeo is a good place to put your stuff, but I think you have to pay for it, so I don't know. It's not super worth it, but
I think it's 500 megabytes a week you're allowed to use. But obviously, if you've got a big file, a video that's longer than 5 minutes long, it's
Yeah, if you're uploading in HD, you'll run out of megabytes soon.
Yeah, so that means Forrest is paying for another thing.
Yeah.
He pays for too much.
Yeah, if you're gonna do something in 4K, then it has to be a second in length or something.
Yeah, he makes a lot of money off YouTube, but he's also paying for a lot more stuff than he needs. I'm constantly going what are you paying for now, Forrest? What do you because he's always using paying for stuff for his productions or some personal or something so it's all going to the production or something, so I'm just it's so much money.
Yeah, but
well, it's good to hear that he's still surviving anyway. The adpocalypse hasn't killed him off.
Yeah, he's doing great. I mean, he's doing the Zombie Universe 3, and I'm helping him out with that. And I'm actually helping him make masks with my brother for like I don't want to really go into it because
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm helping them out. Like I'm drawing concept art for them too, and just doing what I can.
Like, yeah, like not just the apocalypse in general, but for animators especially, like it's been pretty bad for quite a few years, YouTube. So
Yeah,
it's nice to hear
infrequent uploads. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what you call it? Basically, like the apocalypse, like Lego apocalypse.
No, adpocalypse. That's a YouTube thing. In general, yeah.
That was a recent thing for a lot of YouTubers, but for many years, animators have been pushed down and down further and further on YouTube.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
A good example, actually, is like you look at a lot of these like animators who have been, going for years, like like Zach and that kind of and I mean, he used to get like say 8 years ago, like millions of views, and now he gets like 10,000. I mean, although it does depend on the type of stuff you're making. Obviously, but yeah, I think it would just show like you see someone who can have like hundreds of thousands of subscribers and can end up with just like 20,000 views a video,
Yeah, personally, it's upsetting for me because I work my ass off to, have a following on YouTube, and it's kind of like having your dream taken away.
Yeah.
But the good thing is you move on and you do better stuff. You realize like, YouTube is not actually the only place you could, have dreams, and, you could actually do stuff in the industry, which is amazing.
Yeah. It is nice, of course, that you have them, work in the industry, but it's sad that if you ever did decide to make another Tim and Fred or anything like that, by now after such infrequent uploads and everything, you'd have like 1,000 views or 2,000 views.
Yeah.
0 views.
That's the case with Benny and Lee, isn't it? You used to get like what was it, like 50,000 regularly, and sometimes like you're lucky enough to get like 500,000 views, whereas now you get like 2,000.
5,000 at best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I barely got views when I did do it, and I feel like you could tell like I worked hard for the views I got, because like I have like 400 videos or so, like over 300 videos online, and the views I got are from people that keep coming back. They're people that keep coming back. I have like 22,000 subscribers or something on my main account, and they're not active anymore probably, but like for a while that was that I got some views from that, and that was really.
And because the channel has been inactive now, a lot of the subscribers wouldn't even get the videos in their subscription feeds.
I uploaded the video there, and it got like, I did like this. If you saw the Stormtrooper video.
Yeah, I know it.
That got like 1,400 views or something. It's upsetting. It's like, wow, like I worked hard on that. Like nobody saw it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's just upsetting. You don't want to.
You don't want to focus on it, really.
Yeah, you don't want to like you work so hard on a platform, and then like something changes. You can't get found as easily, or something, like I don't know. It could be that, or it's just time. Time passes away or something. But I feel like the fans you gain should stay there. The popularity you gain should stay there, and it shouldn't like go away. But I don't know. That's just how life on YouTube is. You got to stay active.
Yeah, I mean, this topic, it comes up very often, and we always say that really your main motivation should just be because you wanted to make the film. Because if you're doing it for views, you're going to be sorely disappointed. But at the same time, it is a shame when you've been working away on a website for so long and building up a presence, and then it's just taken away from you, and it's no fault of your own, really.
It was a little of both. If I'm being honest, I did want some popularity on there, and I wanted to get attention, because I thought I was great, so I wanted to get attention. But as I was working, I got better and better.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of both. Like,
the quality goes up as the views go down.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. I mean, it went up for a while. Like I think I hit a high point with my Justice League video, my Origins video, and then I did this Man of Steel video. And I think at that point, right when I made the Man of Steel I think that's where I peaked. And then after that, it was downhill because I just kind of concentrated on with Forest and stuff. So
Yeah.
but that's just how the channel went, But yeah, I mean, I could talk about what I'm doing now, I guess.
Yeah, actually, I suppose we should get into that. Yeah.
If you don't have any more questions about the brickfilming side.
Well,
I would like to get into what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could talk about it. It's pretty fun. It's pretty great. I'm at Stoopid Buddy Stoodios now. I'm working at a studio that makes Robot Chicken and Super Mansion, and a show, a Netflix show they released like I guess 2 years now. Buddy Thunderstruck. Those are the three big shows I've worked on, and they're like really, they're like definitely a lot of fun, and it's I'm so happy to be on them, like really happy to be working on it.
Yeah.
Super Mansion is the one I'm on right now, and it's great. It's like the new season is like 21 episodes. I think it's probably the most stop motion ever produced in such a short amount of time.
Wow.
It's like, I think it's about like 5 hours, like it's like a 5-hour movie basically. It made in like I guess 9 months.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's like unprecedented, it's like,
yeah,
it's kind of like something that nobody really knows, like, because like there isn't that much stop motion around, so
no,
it's easy to break records.
but like 90-minute feature films could take years.
Yeah. I mean, this is just like, smartly using resources, like reusing stuff, but it's also got a big budget and stuff, and it's got some big actors, and it's got some really good writers too.
Yeah, sounds.
Yeah, definitely want to check that out.
That sounds really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I love it. I try not to be like too much like of a fan of the stuff I do, but I'm just kind of sick of like defending, like at this point, like I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Super Mansion, and I'm not like, I don't feel bad in saying that. Like, it's like, I enjoy it. I just enjoy it on my own, and yeah, like I think the episodes are funny. I saw a recent episode that should be coming out soon, last night, and it made me laugh so hard. It's got some really, like, the voice acting is so funny, and like there's some great lines in it, and it's just so I'm so proud to be working on it, honestly.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think I do generally think it's good to be proud of your own work, and it's yeah. I think
I like that as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also not mine. It's
yeah. There's lots of people working on it.
There's a lot of people working on it, and I do animate sequences, but most of the time, like, sometimes I'm just doing like insert shots. I'm just like animating some shots that will be compiled into a 21-minute episode, and I did like 3 shots. Like, it's not that much. I didn't do that much work, in that, and but sometimes I'll have a whole scenes, and that'll be great.
Yeah.
But and that's what's cool about Super Mansion is you get a lot more scenes to your own to yourself. Sometimes it'll be split between animators, but like you get a lot more of your own style in there, and I mean, not really, because the show has a specific style, but you get to say like that scene is yours or something.
But I really do think it's great that you started in brickfilming and managed to get a job at a studio that's worked on things that everyone's familiar with. It's inspirational.
Yeah, I owe it to Forrest too. I mean, he helped me get my name out there, and we because he was already kind of online, and people knew his name.
Yeah.
Once we came out with the Hobbit video, the first Hobbit video, that's all it took. Just the first Hobbit video. Dragon Frame like retweeted it, and we got an email from some people at Robot Chicken. So it's kind of weird to think that's how it happened, because they don't usually reach out to anybody. Like,
Yeah.
from what I know, like, I mean, they do, but for like animators that have been doing it a while, you know what I mean? Like, people that are trusted animators, like, oh yeah, you've been working in the industry for a long time, we want you back for this or something.
Actually,
Yeah.
so one thing I wanted to ask, actually, because of Robot Chicken related, there's actually a sketch I've seen that's actually a brick film, and it's
Yeah.
it's like, did you do that one?
No, I don't think I've ever. I haven't done any Lego stuff aside from commercials. I've done Scooby-Doo commercials, Lego commercials. There were like 15 of those. I did like 7 of them, I think, or something, 6 or 7 of them.
Have you also done stuff for Disney as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I did. I have some. I have some people at Disney I work for, which is really good, because it's. I mean, that's the top right there. That's Disney.
Yeah.
Look no further. You know.
But I just wanted to mention that Robot Chicken have actually been doing Lego skits for many years now.
Yeah. The World War Z one is hilarious. And
Yeah, that's the
there's one where there's like this guy in a court. He's like, I believe there's like a higher power that's actually, controlling us from above, and like the jury's like, boo, get out of here. Oh, boo. Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah, it's nice because of the way it's in the format of the show. They're actually doing Lego humor with it.
Yes, yeah, it's really, and they kind of take that too. Like, they take the Lego humor and kind of make it, they kind of do what we do, like they make a brick film out of it, kind of, yeah, it's very reminiscent, that they do it their own way. Like, the Robot Chicken does it their own way, because it has to look like Robot Chicken still,
They have the face animation,
and they have the face animation too. I guess they had face replacement heads or something, and they could afford to do that. They could hire somebody to make all those heads, but
they could. But in the old days, I think they just had paper stuck on the heads.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That World War Z one. I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was just like paper again, like it usually is. Yeah.
That might have been digital. It could have been paper too, but I think for the longer ones they did digital mouths. But for earlier ones, I believe it was either like marker or paper mouth.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. Yeah. That's also awesome working on Robot Chicken for sure. I mean, it's a little bit like animation college a little bit, because there are a lot of interns that start out animating and like they intern there, and then they become, slowly but surely, they become an animation assistant, and then they become an animator,
Yeah.
That takes a while for some people, right? Luckily,
Yeah.
I actually didn't need to start out as either. I just started out as an animator because I had enough credibility, I had enough, work to be like, no, I can animate. Like, I don't have to be like an assistant, So that was really great.
That's cool, all right.
Really glad I didn't have to be an animation assistant. Like, it's like, because you need to use a walkie-talkie, and like I hate my own voice. Like, I hate, like, I hate that. Like, I barely use a walkie-talkie now. Like, I try not to.
Yeah. So, were there any difficulties going from Lego to figures, or was it pretty natural?
It was like it was a little bit of a challenge, mostly because I realized that there was so much more you had to do.
More expression you can get out of them.
Yeah, there's a lot more you need to do, as far like the difference between Legos and figures. You got to work on their face. Like, I've never sculpted a face before. I've never like actually, made a face, and that's one thing you have to do. You have to like sculpt the eyelids and put on the eyebrows. Luckily, they have like sculpted eyebrows now, so you don't have to sculpt the eyebrows and sculpted eyelids. So you just put those in, and you put in the pupils and everything. But that was kind of a learning curve for me, because I'm like, whoa, this is already there for me for Legos. So that was kind of a learning curve. But once you get that, it's pretty easy. You can focus on what's just happening in the shop.
Yeah, I'd imagine it mostly transfers the skill set.
Yeah, no, it transfers pretty easily. But yeah, like if you're an animator, you can switch over to it pretty quickly.
Yeah. So so before we head over to the Brickfilm Showcase, is there anything that you'd like to ask, Penta?
Well, I think we've been actually going for a long time, so
yeah.
I think we've covered a lot, so let's head on.
Yeah, I love a good long podcast though, so I'm not.
I do as well, actually. They're great, especially when you're animating.
Yeah.
I am at work listening to the podcast I listen to. I don't know if you guys listen to the Weekly Planet. They talk about movies and comics and TV shows and stuff and all this stuff, and they're two really funny Australian guys. I've actually made a few videos for them in the past, and they're really funny. And also the Slash Film Cast, they review movies and stuff, and they both their podcasts are 2 hours long or an hour long or something, and that's just it's just fuel. It's just fuel for me.
Yeah.
So
it sort of motivates you to keep animating, because it's there's an hour left of this podcast.
Yeah.
Let's just animate for another hour.
When we're recording these, I kind of think oh, this one's an hour and a half, or oh, this one's 2 hours. People are going to think that's too long. But when I have a podcast I like myself, and they come out with a 3-hour episode, I'm thinking, yes, there's more to work with.
It's a good thing, as long as they like the person talking, it's you want it to be long, Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure, I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are going to be really interested to hear your story and everything. So yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
I know there was a lot of good. There's a lot of good reception from the Four Monkeys. So
yeah.
Yeah, I love the Four Monkeys podcast.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so should we head over to the showcase now?
Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah, okay. So my pick was the Revenge Song by HarryAndBillyBrick. So this is a 2016 film, and I think it's when I saw it first, it really kind of stood out as being a real highlight of 2016. And I did the showcase series recently, a couple of months ago, and the timeline series, and looking back at it now, I really regret not having this one on there, because it's a fantastic film, and I think it's just a great kind of I love how much it kind of how much emotion it puts into the visuals. I love visual storytelling, and I think it really perfectly shows just the visual stuff, and the kind of it you can really kind of you really see the development of the character and his motivation through visuals, and I think it's just I just really love it, and the animation is absolutely superb as well. So what are your guys' thoughts?
First of all, the street scenes outside in this are amazing. They practically look real.
Yes.
Those are probably the best made shots of the whole film, and that's saying a lot, because it looks great throughout.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do have one gripe, I suppose I might as well get out of the way, is when you see the micro scale city, the micro scale construction is all really nice, but it's kind of in focus along with the characters in front of it, so it doesn't really look far away.
Huh.
So it would have been nice if that had been blurred a bit more.
Bit of blur, yeah.
But obviously that's just a small thing.
I didn't notice that, actually. But it was the first time I watched it. I'd never seen it before, so I was just caught up in it. But yeah, I didn't notice that at all.
But that's really the only thing I could complain about, because other than that, the visuals are perfect, really.
Yeah.
And during the BFG Awards 2016, I really thought this was going to win Best Film.
Oh wow!
I was surprised that it didn't, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then one thing I like about this film is that one of the important scenes in it is the dance, and the entire soundtrack of the film is in waltz time.
Yeah. So I think it's superb, fantastic use of music as well. again, is another thing I just really love about like just visual storytelling, relying on music and just the visuals. Yeah, it's something.
And
I
some
mean,
black and white sequences as well are nice.
yeah. That really added a nice sort of tonal kind of thing, and yeah, it's a really nicely polished, really kind of stylistic film. It's not type of stuff that you really see in brick filming much. I don't think it's like something that looks like this, and it's just like it feels like a live action film. It really does feel like a short. Yeah, it's I think it's one of those films. I guess another one is like the River by Night Owl. It's just like one of those films that just feels like it. You just completely forget it's Lego. Yeah.
I completely forgot about the River. Yeah, I think that's a good one too. I can't really remember it, but I remember that being a good one. I remember Night Owl was great. But yeah, back to Harry and Billy. Is it like Harry and Billy? Are they two separate animators? Is it two people?
Well,
I think so.
Their names aren't actually Harry and Billy, but in the credits of this, there's one animator and one guy doing the music, and I'd assume they're brothers.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, no, they're good. Or they're whoever it is, they're really good. I think I got out of Brickfilming like around 2015, 2016. Even though I was making stuff with Forrest, I kind of stopped watching. I used to watch all the time, but I just kind of faded out of watching Brickfilms.
Yeah, this does come up a lot with some of the other people we've spoken to.
Yeah, so I just concentrating on other things, I just want to watch more stuff and also YouTube. I'm just not a huge YouTuber anymore, so I don't really go on there a lot. But so Harry and Billy, I didn't watch as much of their stuff because I think they were coming up, 2016. That's a great movie, but I probably wasn't watching around that time. But this is really good. This is a great one because it's only got 5,000 views. That's a tragedy.
Yeah.
It's got some great visual storytelling, and the animation is superb. The dancing is really. I honestly have never seen Lego dancing like that. It feels like something that I haven't seen from Legos, and that's great. There's a part where he lands on the ground because he gets kicked when the guy's climbing the gate, and he kicks him and he lands on the ground, and it just looks great. It's just a really, really good animation of him just falling. Just the impact is really good. That's the kind of stuff I like. I look for. That's a good impact. It's great. I love good impacts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like impacts as well.
Yes, you need a good you just need to see that connection. And then the next frame, they're way up in the air or something. Just kind of just something radically different to see that there's some
It can be a hard concept to grasp at first.
Oh yeah, that's definitely one of the toughest ones. For me, I was what? How do I make this look? But it's kind of fun. It's fun to think about.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a thing I've noticed with you. That you did a really good because when we talked about the afterlife experience, I thought there was a lot of really good impact moments, when he gets knocked over, near the start of the film. I think it's the way that you sort of the camera kind of cut to him being knocked over, that kind of thing. The camera work and stuff, I think helped with that. But that was a really good impact. That it really had a good
I am actually proud of that trailer for the movie because I won Best Trailer. And I actually got a Bricks in Motion t-shirt for that trailer, and I'm very proud of that because I really like that trailer, and I'm happy that everyone else liked it too.
Yeah,
I would have liked if it won too, but I think it got 4th place, which is pretty good.
Well, actually, one of the things that we mentioned when we were speaking about it was that it was amazing that it actually didn't make the top 10.
What?
It was 11th or something.
What? Oh my god, really? I could swear it got 4th. In the avant-garde?
Yeah.
Wow, oh my god. That's just heartbreaking for me.
But it's great though.
Yeah.
I know it's fantastic. I love it. I mean, I think in most contests, like that would be a really high scoring one. I think like if I saw that now, like it would made top 10 in most things.
I think there were a lot of great brick films. Like
I would guess the judges might have, I don't know, maybe they thought it wasn't avant-garde enough. Maybe it wasn't what they were looking for.
yeah, that's fine. I mean, there was plenty of great, plenty of great brick films cropping up. So
But the fact that we're still talking about it today, it did all right for itself.
that's great. Yeah, that's great.
It works well on its own. It's a good film. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
But Penta, what was your pick?
My pick was the Crucible trailer by Night Owl from 2007. And I was just thinking that, we often mention the river, and for good reason. And I think some people still know Hastings as well. But a lot of Night Owl's other work isn't quite as well known. And the Crucible trailer in particular, I think, is phenomenal in its visuals. And recently I've really been wanting to improve my framing and lighting, and I've been getting into buying lenses, and I just bought a DSLR recently, so I've been interested in all that sort of area. Mm-hmm. So Night Owl stuff is what I've been looking to for inspiration. And this film, it's so nicely made, and nicely lit and framed and all that. If it was released now, you wouldn't know it was 11 years old. I think you could release it today and people would say, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah, the Crucible.
Do you know, there's something about like Night Owl's films, they feel like classic films from like the 70s. That look of the film and stuff, it looks like something shot in film, and
it's like he added grain to it.
Yeah.
Well, as far as I know, he did something with the camera settings, something with the exposure or the length of the shutter speed to get this nice grainy texture on this film.
Totally.
But it made it so that you didn't really even notice the quality of the image. It just looks just beautiful.
Well, the quality of the image is actually good, because in 2007, direct file downloads were starting to become HD. But then when YouTube happened, it set video quality back to the dark ages. So there are some HD brick films from 2007 that were offered as direct file downloads.
That's true, actually. When you look at like films from like 2006 and 7, there's some really like beautifully HD quality films, and yet like you get like 2008, and it's like.
And this is one of them. Like the picture quality of this looks good because it actually is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this. The trailer.
Yeah. Well, one of the questions I wanted to ask is this actually a trailer, or is it just kind of like a...
Well, this was made for a class assignment, and the assignment was to make some promotional material for an adaptation of The Crucible. So It was always meant to be just a standalone trailer. But I think that it works really well, because that means he could just focus on all the individual shots.
Yes.
Instead of having to tell a complete story, it just turns into a cinematography showcase, essentially.
Yeah, but also, like, not just cinematography, I feel like...
the voice acting is phenomenal.
Voice acting, yeah. The voice acting really sold me. Like, I actually went back on YouTube and went to the Crucible trailer with, Daniel Day-Lewis to check if he used that audio. Because I was like, it sounded so good. I was like, wait a minute, I gotta see this. See if this is like... if he just used the audio from this or what. But no, it's I guess he created everything. Like, that's...
And another thing I love about Night Owl's stuff is his music. I mean, he made some fantastic music to go with, like, it's so unique to his style.
John Carpenter on it.
Yeah, he did the music himself. And he's very good at, atmospheric music.
Yeah, that one shot in the woods, man.
Yeah, amazing.
That's... when I saw that last night, I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember this."
And this stuff still looks good, but like in 2007, this is crazy.
Yeah, it's mind blowing for sure.
And he actually he mentioned that he made the shots in the woods with 2 sheets of glass with soap smeared on them.
Oh yeah, because you see the fog moving, and I think he just like moved the sheet or something.
Well, I think the movement is actually just the grain of the individual frames.
Well, I could swear you could see the fog moving in between the trees, and I think he probably...
Actually, I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah. But that was really effective. I thought that was good. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at a different shot. Yeah, there is a shot that focuses on the movement of the fog. But yeah, to make that the real depth, he had the sheets of glass, and it's a method it's becoming slightly more popular now. People are doing sheets of glass or plastic with diluted paint or diluted glue. It's a really nice look.
Another thing that works really well is that I picked up at Stoopid Buddy is like just white thread, like a sheet, like that's just white thread, but like is really see through. That can work as just like you put it out far off in the background, and it's out of focus, and it looks like you put it in between like buildings and stuff, and that looks like kind of like a fog, like an in between fog, like just like in between buildings or something. That works really well.
That's interesting.
I do use sheet for actually nighttime scenes. I just have like an old dark navy blue pillow sheet, which is really old, and it's just the exactly right color for like nighttime stuff. And yeah, you can sometimes see the creases and stuff, but I think it adds to it. I think, yeah.
Just using cloth is good.
But I'd like to see how that thread would be rigged up. I mean, like,
yeah, the thread. Yeah,
I'm kind of trying to imagine what you mean by that.
It's very see-through. Like, it's very like, imagine like thread that's just threaded through to create a sheet, but you can see the holes in the thread.
Yeah.
From far away, it just kind of looks like, it could look like fog. Like,
that's interesting.
Direct focus. Yeah. So like that would be set up, and you could actually attach clouds to it, because you could just like, you could either like slant it down, you could either slant it and then just put clouds on, and like stick it to it with like, I don't know, like just clips, like clip it to the thread. But that's one way of doing it. I mean, that's just, I'm getting a little, complicated now, but it's just a cool technique I saw.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to the Crucible.
Yeah. Have we said everything we need to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just great, and I have to
go
go back and rewatch The River for sure.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, how did you get this? Because I went on YouTube and he's not on YouTube.
You see, in recent years, we've had a bit of a movement to preserve history and collect missing films. And really, the place we started was Night Owl's filmography.
Oh, nice.
So there was people who had one or two of his films downloaded over the years, and we found them all and found all the people who had films and gathered them together, and now we have them hosted online.
Awesome. Is he just like gone now? Is he like just not online?
Well, he's still on Twitter, but he was, as far as I can tell, he's the kind of person who dislikes everything he makes. That's always the impression that I got, and it seems as if he decided to remove everything except The River.
Oof, alright.
But luckily we've managed to collect almost all of the things that he made.
Cool. That's great. He's really good.
But actually, I could send you a link to where we have all of his films linked.
Yes, please do that.
Yeah, I'll send you that afterwards.
Make sure people can find it too.
Yeah.
Yep, that's great.
So, what was your pick?
So my pick is Andy Weir's The Egg by the Lego Man, I think. I'm not sure if like Andy Weir that's how you say Andy Weir.
I just want to mention quickly that the Lego Man would be better known as, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but his username was Markenration.
Markenration. If I saw his username, I might know exactly who you're talking about, but
maybe. Although he was kind of an older member, actually, since like 2003 or something.
Yeah.
And The Egg is his last film, and he was not very active when he released it.
Yeah, if I saw his like profile picture, maybe I would know who you're talking about. Yeah, but he's done a few. He did this one great one about like a music video where like with no faces, that was really good. I forgot what that one's called. I think it's...
Yeah, he made the the music video called Fairy Tale. That was good.
Yes, that's what it is. Yes, it's called Fairy Tale. Yes. Yeah, he's great. He's made some great stuff.
Yeah.
This one was definitely crazy because it was like the first really deep brick film I'd ever seen, because I'd actually never heard of that story. I never heard of the short story. I feel like I would have, because I've always been kind of like, into like, cool philosophies and everything. I just expected to, to have heard it before, but when I watched it, I was like, it just blew my mind, because I was not expecting that at all. I was not expecting this to hear something that deep, and just, it was done really well, and the voice acting was great, and and he made it his own kind of adaptation, I think, he made it his own, and I think that's great.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't really heard the story either, actually. So is it adapted from like a play or a short?
A short story, I think.
Okay, right. Yeah. But it's really deep. Again, I like all the films we've chosen. They're quite deep, kind of serious films, and
they're straight up films. For sure.
With all of them, you kind of forget they're brick films, and with this one, it's I don't think I'd ever heard anything quite like this, actually. It's quite a very deep kind of philosophical sort of story, and it's very, very deep. Yeah,
it's really impressive to just come out with this, and do it in Lego.
I wasn't sure what to expect. At first, I thought it was going to be like a comedy or something, because the name, like the egg, it sounds almost like it's going to be funny. But
I thought it was going to be a Lego video comedy.
Yeah.
I just like, whoa, it just blew my mind. Like when I first watched it, after it, I felt like I honestly felt different afterward. Like I felt like alone, like alone in the universe.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. And like I felt like whenever I talked to people afterward, like there was an echo, like I was alone. It affected me. It really affected me. And that's really just the story doing that. But I just think it's so great that he did it in Lego, so I could find it, so I could see it. I think I'm really appreciative of that. But also I think it's hilarious that at the end it says this is pure fiction and not meant to be philosophical or in any way, as if that's gonna be like like you're gonna go through that whole experience and watch and read that and go like, oh, thank God it's fiction.
Yeah, my life has changed. My life has changed completely. But then I was told that no, so it wasn't real. No, it's okay.
Second, I thought that was real. Yeah, no, I thought that was really funny looking at that again, like but as if that could have change anybody's opinion of this.
Yeah, it's like try and stop me thinking about it.
Yeah, I thought that was great. So,
but it's like, I mean, this might be like one of the most kind of like philosophical and sort of just like really kind of inspiring kind of brick films I've actually ever seen, and I've only just like been introduced to it right now. Yeah, and it's
glad I could show it to you.
Yeah, I'm really glad to find out about this. This is a really amazing film. I've never heard anyone talk about it before.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was super surprised when you picked this one, because it's really I never hear anyone talking about it. I felt like I was the only one who knew about it.
It wasn't my first pick for sure. I was saying to you guys before we were recording that like I just pulled up my favorites last night, and I from years ago, all like 2,000 of my favorites, and I just literally just went through it, just looking to see if there's anything that I recognize. I wasn't gonna watch everything. Like I didn't watch everything. I was looking for just videos that I remembered. It's funny because I was just looking for videos I remembered, and that like thumbnails that I would recognize and be like, oh yeah, that, and be like, oh, that was a great one or something like that. And it was a lot harder than I thought, because I found a bunch and I was like, that it's just not exactly what, because it didn't fit like the perimeters of what I wanted exactly. Like a lot of them, like some of them were great, but they were too popular, or like they had their due, you know what I mean, like, but like, some were, I don't know, like some weren't even Brickfilms. It's just like it was tough to find the right one. But I just mentioned that one to you as one of the options. Like I was gonna say more, but as soon as you said like, oh, that's a great one. Like as soon as you said that, I was like, all right, yeah, that's the one.
It's just kind of one of those things where it's like these things are just sort of destined to kind of like work out, because like these three films are like perfect. They perfectly go together, because it's like you could literally just and I'm always thinking about this. Like I watch a brick film, and I sort of think, could I show this to someone who's never seen a brick film, who just appreciates film? And I think I would show these three to anyone. Yeah,
all three are, I think, perfect diving in points for somebody who, like if you want to show somebody a brick film, like you got the Revenge Song, you got awesome visuals, you got great visuals, a great visual story, no talking, it's just purely Legos, it's pure pure visuals and pure animation and all that, and it tells a story, great story. And then you have the Crucible, which is like, oh, that feels like a movie I've seen. That feels like, oh yeah, that feels like a movie that's, that just looks like the trailer for the Crucible with Daniel Day-Lewis and everything. But it's not. It's it's by somebody else. It's by the brick filmer. And then this one is just a really deep, talk that just makes you go, oh, Lego videos can be about anything. Like they can talk about anything. It's all about story. That's really what it comes down to. It's all about story. And it doesn't really matter what method you use. It's just like a matter of style and
Yeah, I mean, if your imagination is in the right place, you could probably make an emotional story with stick figures, probably.
Exactly. That's the exact point. Because like, we don't have a big budget. Like we don't have enough, resources to make, a lot of stuff, to make a big production. And Legos are such a great tool to make anything we want, make anything. We got our puppets, we got our costumes, we got our sets. That's all covered. Like we got everything covered in that. So all you need to do is the animation, the VFX or whatever, and the story. All that. So it takes a lot of weight off of what you're doing, and it's the perfect tool to get going.
Yeah. It's great if you're you're not necessarily, if you say, for example, you're not necessarily an expert on how to craft these things, but you want to tell a good story, and you've got the resources there ready for you to make that story. And I think that's just what makes Lego just so special to me, I think, and just I think to a lot of us, really.
Yeah, and people talk about Lego and be, oh, it's so creative, you can make anything you want, but like, really, I think the underdog is you can make movies with Lego, and that is way more creative of a process than making Legos. Making Lego build, like making Lego builds, because you have so many different departments involved. You got audio, you got all these other things, and it's way more creative than just building Legos on building sets. And I think that's like really underestimated with Legos in general. But I gotta give it its due. It got me where I am right now. So
That's true. Yeah.
But so is there anything that you guys like to say before we wrap this up?
Anything you want to say, Sean?
Just thanks for coming on. It really has been a great conversation.
Oh, great! Yeah, I love talking. So If you want, I can come back anytime.
Yeah.
We can work it out.
That'd be awesome, yeah.
Talk about something. Well, we'll have to have another topic or something. But I'd love to return. And yeah, and if I have anything coming up, I'd love to show you guys what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You could always reach me on my on Twitter, like Filmyguy at Filmyguy on Twitter, and and my Instagram too. I draw a bunch.
Yeah. You're really good at drawing.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's just my name. It's just at Sean Willets. So on Instagram. So you definitely check me out and follow me and stuff. And my channel obviously is my name too. But,
Yeah. Watch the Tim and Fred series. They're great. Yeah.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, that's really fun.
Yeah, and I still have my fingers crossed that one day we'll eventually see a comeback.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, we I definitely do want to do something. I just haven't, gotten the urge to like the right story or something. They're really good characters, and I'm really proud of them because I actually came up with them.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually really nice to hear someone who really just enjoy, is really happy with what they've done. It's actually a really nice thing to hear, actually, and I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that someone would say that about stuff that that's really good, and that's really nice to hear. So yeah. Yeah,
I'm afraid oh my goodness, I'm afraid sometimes to say that because I don't want to come off like pretentious, but it's true. Like I am proud of what I've done, and like you gotta have like a sense of pride, for what you
I
really
think so,
have.
yeah.
And I think that's what makes you better too. Like it makes it. Sometimes people say like beating yourself up that makes you better and stuff, but I mean not really. Like you could be you could use love too.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
there's love, but it should be love, I think.
But it's like that with I was doing I remember when I was first starting out as a brick filmer, and I would constantly sort of think to myself, I'm not a great animator. I'm not quite at the level to ever be in like a top 10 in a contest. And I realised that the biggest thing that was beating me up was myself, just by saying that kind of thing. And I was sort of thinking like, okay, if I'm not good enough yet, let's try and be good enough to and I gotta keep striving. I think you've got to keep getting better, and you've got to stop. You have to stop kind of thinking to yourself that, oh yeah, I'm making bad stuff. Mm-hmm. You've got to be you should be happy with what you do, and yeah.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest piece of advice actually to people doing making Lego videos, making brick films, is to not so much focus on the details. Like, don't focus on like animation as much. Like you don't really have to. Like, I'd say the biggest thing to focus on is like telling a funny joke. Telling a really funny joke, or like that's at least what I focused on. Like telling something really funny, like a really funny story, a short joke or something, and just go from there, and like just try and make that one joke as funny as you can make it. And I think that'll give you the experience you need to make stuff like better and better. Going that, but because that's like humor, I think that's like the main thing that kind of helped me, get better and better. So
yeah,
like story and character, that's always really what they say.
I mean, I would say that if you're constantly beating yourself up over your own work, it'd be very easy to give up entirely. So you have to be happy enough with it to keep going.
Yeah, you just got to find the great stuff that you did in it.
Yeah. And
be appreciative that that's there and stuff, but also notice the bad stuff. Like notice what you did wrong, and like notice the mistake, that stuff for sure. You have to have an objective viewpoint all the time. But you should be proud of what you did accomplish.
But I do like to hear people proud of what they've made, especially the older stuff, and I much prefer to hear that than hearing people just talking bad about everything they ever did, even when it's great.
It can be kind of like maybe a little redundant, like, oh, that one's bad, oh, that one's bad, it can be a little like that, but like it's better if you like go like, oh, I like that bit about it, or I like that about it. Just talk about the things you like about it, really.
Yeah.
Instead of what you hate. I could definitely talk about the things I hate about stuff, but I won't because it's not.
But yeah, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been lovely talking to you. It's been
Yeah, no, it's great talking to you guys. Yeah, it's definitely like, I get a good conversation out of people that are good at, I'm good to, talking to. I like talking to. So, that's credit to you guys. You're great.
Yeah, that's
great talking to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Goodbye, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you guys later.